question I get asked all the time is, how do I keep my suits looking clean and fresh? Well, obviously the solution is to take it to the dry cleaners. Now, several drawbacks with that. The first one being the cost. It's expensive to keep getting your suit dry cleaned. The second thing is the inconvenience. You have to keep going into town to get your suits dry cleaned and then go and pick them up again. The third thing is it damages the suit. It's not great for the suit fibre, especially wool suits, if you're constantly dry cleaning it. And the fourth thing, I think, is the smell. The chemical smell you get when you take the plastic cover off is not pleasant. So what's the alternative? Well, I'm going to give you a 4-step process to cleaning your suits at home, so hopefully you'll be able to ditch the dry cleaners forever. I'm Jonathan Farley, a personal sailor from Scotland, and this is my essential guide for the modern man. So if you like this type of video, please smash the like button and subscribe to my channel for more of the same. Right, so the first step is going to be taking a clothes brush. The clothes brush, this one I got from Amazon, very cheap. They have two sides, a soft bristle and a hard bristle. The soft bristle is for surface dust and dirt, and the hard bristle is for more of a deeper clean into the fibres. And the first thing we're going to do with this is just give the suit a brush all over. What this is doing is removing surface dust and dirt. And the purpose of this is that when we go to the wet stage of the clean, we're not wetting the dirt and absorbing it back into the fibres of the suit. So, just all over. If you find spots of dirt, let's say spilled food, not food that's been absorbed like grease, but stuff that's sitting on the surface, a bit of dried on ketchup or something, then you can use the stiff side of the brush to give it a little bit of extra work. Okay, so we've brushed the suit and that's step one. It's now free of dust and surface dirt. Now, step two. This is a homemade cleaner. It's basically Castile Soap, white vinegar and water. I'll leave the recipe for it in the description, but this is a very cheap and effective homemade spot cleaner. It's very good at getting out grease marks and it's not harsh on the fibres. So around places like the cuffs, where it's near to your wrists, very common area for getting grease on them, your lapels, and of course the back of the collar. The back of the collar, where it's near to your hairline, is a very obvious candidate for cleaning. So we give that a little bit of extra attention. I'm doing it on a mannequin just for the sake of the demonstration. It's actually easier to lay it flat and do it on a flat surface because you can concentrate on the areas better. But once you've identified the areas that need to be spot cleaned, you then use a microfiber cloth and clean off any specific marks. All the way around. This process should lift off any obvious spots of gravy and grease and food that's been dropped on your suit, which leaves us then step number 4, which is giving it a gentle hand wash. For this, you're going to need 2 bowls. Fill one of them with warm water and one of them with cool water, and get some detergent, and in my case, some rubber gloves. So give me a second, I'll just prepare it. Okay, so I've got my warm water, my cool water, an old but clean towel. We'll use that as part of the drying process. And my rubber gloves and my laundry detergent. This is just an ordinary laundry pod. I'm not going to let it dissolve in the water. I'm going to open it up and put the detergent in because I don't want to have the plastic in the water. So just squeeze all that out into there. And then we can start with the wash. Now, as I said, the jacket itself has been spot cleaned, so there's no marks as such. It's all been, this stage is just the general freshening up. Obviously the laundry detergent's got a nice smell to it and conditioners in. After we've done this, it's going to smell nice and fresh. All of that surface grime and grease is going to have gone, and it'll be lovely and fresh. So I've checked that the pockets are all empty. You don't want to have any tissues or any paper in the pockets, because that will really ruin your day if you wash tissues in your suit. Now all I'm doing is a squeezing motion. What this is doing is effectively pumping warm soapy water in through the fibres of the suit. If you want, you can let the soap and the warm water act for a little while on the grease and any sweat that's in the suit. I'm going to do a slightly speeded up version today so that you can see. Now I've got one bowl of cold water there, cool water. You may need 2 or 3 by the end of it, because the last thing you want is to have any soap residue in your suit jacket. If you go out in the rain and there's dried soap in your suit jacket, you'll turn into a big a big bowl of suds. So you want to try and avoid that. So you'll notice that I'm not scrubbing, I'm not using a brush to try to do any cleaning, because too much friction on the wool is going to cause pilling and damage to the suit. So if you can do it just by being very gentle with the fabric at this stage, then you'll get it clean and hopefully minimize any damage to it in the process. That should be enough, certainly for the sake of this demonstration. When we're getting the water out, we're giving it a squeeze rather than wringing like you're wringing a cloth. We don't want to, again, risk damaging the fibres, stretching them and pulling at them. So we're just giving it a gentle squeeze rather than a wringing action. So that's a lot of the soap out. Now we'll just give it a rinse in the cool water. Right, this bit's quite boring, so I'm going to speed this up. I'm going to do this 3 times, and you can join me after I've finished this. So it's had 3 rinses, and this is the 4th, just to show you the final bit of the process. You'll know once it's had enough rinses, because the water will be clear and it won't have any soap suds coming up in the water. So that's it done, and now we go for the drying process. So same as before, we start off with a squeeze to get the water out. Now, obviously, the more of the water you can get out at this stage, the quicker the drying process is going to be. So, as I said before, we don't want to wring the jacket, so we're going to try and squeeze it, and that's where the towel comes in. So doing this, squeeze out as much water as we can. And then we just lay it down. Easiest if you lay it as flat as possible onto the towel. Open up the towel and then just roll it up. Again, it's still quite a gentle process, but the rolling means that you're going to absorb as much of the water as you can into the towel. And again, it's a squeeze, a squeeze, and a squeeze. And that gets a lot of the water out. And you can do it with as many towels as you want and as many times as you want, but that's basically it for getting the majority of the surface water out. So now you're left with quite a crushed and quite a damp jacket. So the natural way to dry this is with a broad-shouldered coat hanger, cedar coat hanger. Broad-shouldered so that it molds the shoulder of the jacket while it's drying. That's always a good tip. And straighten it out as much as possible. Get the pocket flaps straight and make sure when it dries, it's going to be drying as crease-free as possible. Now, I have a secret weapon that I'm going to be using. Instead of just letting it dry naturally, I'm going to be using my automatic drying machine. These are a bit of a game changer. So what this does, it's normally used for shirts, but it also works for suit jackets. And it's going to speed up the drying process, because what it does is it produces warm air down here and blows it through the body and arms and into the suit. If you can allow me to demonstrate, put the jacket on and pull the sleeves through. They also come with weights that you can hang around the body so that as it's drying, it pulls out the creases. And then you just switch it on. Then you straighten the jacket as it's inflating, so you're getting all the creases out at this stage. Make sure the collar's popped up so it's drying naturally all the way around the back. We'll add another weight to the back. So I know from experience that it's not going to dry in one cycle. It might even take 2 or 3 cycles, which will be 25 minutes or so. But to get a suit jacket that's completely wet, completely dry and wearable in 25 minutes is quite something, without putting it in a tumble dryer or treating it to any harsh processes. The machine goes up to 70 degrees, so it's not even boiling, it's not steaming, it's just gently pushing warm air through the fibres and pushing out the creases as it goes. So we'll come back when it's finished and we'll take a look. So that's now finished on the ironing machine. I'm going to take it off and let you see what it looks like now. Now obviously it might need a little bit of pressing still manually with an iron. If it does, if you think it still needs that, then usual advice for pressing wool, use a pressing cloth, something cotton in between the base plate of the iron and the garment. Lower setting, sort of medium heat, and use lots of spray, lots of steam to keep it nice and wrinkle free. So but as you can see, that has freshened up nicely. If you've seen my channel before, you'll know I love my blue jackets, blue suits. I've got 5 jackets on the go, rotate them as suits and jackets and jeans. So for me, this technique is an absolute godsend. Get the jackets, give them all a wash, dry them, and they're good to go again in an hour or so. Fantastic. No more trips down to the dry cleaners, no more chemical smell when they come back, and no more risking delamination with the heat from the dry cleaning process. So if you like this sort of thing, follow along for my essential guide for the modern man. If you have any comments or questions, fire them into the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. And until next time, take care. I'll see you very soon.